Welcome to the Explainer. If you're actively applying for jobs or even just planning your next career move, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're fixing the most critical yet somehow frequently ignored part of your application, the resume headline. We're going to transform your opening from a generic, easily skipped phrase into a highly specific, high-impact hook that literally demands attention. Let's get right into it. Here's a hard truth for you. Most resumes are rejected before anyone reads past the very first few lines. And the surprising part? It's usually not because the candidate lacks the right skills. It's because their opening gives the hiring manager absolutely no reason to keep reading. Your resume headline isn't a slogan, and it definitely shouldn't just be your current job title copy-pasted from LinkedIn. It has to immediately answer one specific question for the reader. Is this person worth my attention right now?
To fix this, here's our agenda. 1. Why headlines fail. 2. The three-part anatomy. 3. Adapting by career stage. 4. Beating applicant tracking systems. And 5. The final verbal test.
Section 1. Why headlines fail. 6. That is the number of seconds recruiters actually spend deciding if a resume is worth a closer look. 6 seconds. Eye tracking studies show that recruiters do not read resumes the way we candidates like to imagine they do. They aren't curling up with a cup of coffee to read your life story. They are executing a rapid, predictable scan to find specific signals. If they don't spot them in those 6 seconds, they move on. During that lightning-fast scan, recruiters follow a very predictable pattern. First, job relevance. Do you match the role they're hiring for? Second, your scope of responsibility. Third, your industry or context. And finally, proof of outcome. A good headline acts as an anchor that directly supports this exact scanning pattern. It aligns perfectly with the role they are hiring for today, rather than listing out your entire career history. Take a classic, well-worn phrase like results-driven team player. Lots of candidates think this sounds super professional, but to a recruiter, it's just empty noise. Phrases like experienced professional with strong skills or motivated individual seeking growth show up on literally thousands of resumes. Hiring managers see them hundreds of times a week, so their brains actually learn to just skip right over them. They add zero signal and actively slow the reader down. Section 2. The three-part anatomy. A strong headline reduces thinking. It tells the reader what you do, how you do it, and why it matters, all in one breath. And it does this by combining at least 2, but ideally all 3 of these specific elements. Step 1, state your function or role clearly. Step 2, define your area of strength or focus. And step 3, provide a result, a sense of scale, or specific context. Check out the difference here. Marketing manager with 7 years experience relies entirely on tenure. It's okay, but experience alone really isn't a differentiator. Now look at marketing manager driving inbound growth for B2B SaaS teams. See how that instantly anchors your attention? It tells a complete, compelling story. You get the role, the focus on inbound growth, and the specific context of B2B SaaS teams, completely skipping all that generic noise. Section 3. Adapting by career stage. The logic here is absolutely vital. If you're early in your career, your focus area should be on the skills you can apply and your learning speed, not the number of years you've worked. A recent graduate just shouldn't sound like a senior executive. Mid-career candidates, you need to shift your focus to ownership and impact. And senior candidates, your headline must highlight your scope and your decision-making capabilities. Generic, one-size-fits-all templates completely miss this nuance, which is exactly why they usually fall flat. Let's look at some real-world examples built right from actual hiring patterns. Junior content strategist supporting SEO projects. This perfectly reassures the reader of their skills without pretending to be a senior leader. For a career changer, how about operations analyst transitioning from finance? This creates immediate clarity and builds trust rather than trying to hide the transition. And for an experienced pro, finance manager leading month-end close for multi-entity teams. Notice how it frames the specific responsibility and scale instead of just defaulting to 10 years of finance experience. We also have to address those specialized, tricky situations. If you've got a diverse background juggling multiple roles, the absolute biggest mistake is trying to list everything. Your headline needs to unify, not list. Focus on transferable value, like marketing and analytics professional bridging content and performance data. The goal is coherence, not absolute completeness. And for customer-facing roles, outcomes matter way more than just being friendly. Focus on scale and problem handling, like customer support lead managing high-volume ticket environments. Section 4. Beating applicant tracking systems.
This quote right here captures a really fundamental misunderstanding. Applicant tracking systems do not read your headline for nuance or creativity. They scan for alignment. This means your headline absolutely must reflect the role title and the core language used in the specific job description you're applying for. This is exactly why your headline needs to be adjusted slightly for every single application. One version rarely fits all.
To keep both the ATS and those human screeners happy, you've got to ruthlessly eliminate the common patterns that work against you. Don't overload your headline with too many claims. Strip out those bloated buzzwords that lack context. They're just hurting your system performance. Never use clever titles that don't actually exist in the real job market. And avoid vague leadership claims that provide zero scope. Remember the golden rule here. If a headline raises questions instead of answering them, it slows the reader down, and slowness drastically reduces callbacks.
Section 5. The final verbal test.
So, before you finalize your words, you have to choose the right tone. Ask yourself, does it sound like something a real person would actually say? Your headline should sound like a calm, honest introduction, not a flashy late-night advertisement. Avoid fake urgency and excessive self-praise. Truthfully, the strongest headlines are very often the shortest ones that still feel complete. Here is your practical step-by-step exercise to rewrite your headline right now. Do not just start picking random words. Start by answering questions. Step 1. Write down the exact role you're applying for. Step 2. Write down the primary problem that role exists to solve. Step 3. Write down exactly how you help solve it. Step 4. Mash those answers together and edit them down into one single, tight sentence. And Step 5. Read it out loud. If it sounds uncomfortable or arrogant to say out loud in a professional meeting, it is definitely going to feel uncomfortable for a hiring manager to read. And that brings us to our final thought. A well-crafted headline isn't just nice decoration on a page. It's your core professional positioning. It tells the recruiter exactly where to mentally place you and reduces their uncertainty. So I'll leave you with this question. Does your current headline respect the hiring manager's time? Does it offer absolute clarity without effort? If you are actively applying, revisit your headline today. It's a tiny change, but it so often creates the absolute biggest shift in your interview callbacks.